So this is a question I keep seeing online everywhere, and because obviously when you get caught up with other people's realities, it starts to affect your own, and also obviously your mood also gets affected by their negative mood, by their words. So what do we actually do to deal with other people when we're trying to manifest? How do we actually put up that wall of like, I'm unaffected, you can't get to my energy, and so therefore we don't get dragged into their reality and it doesn't affect our manifestation? So first and foremost, this is where like the inner work starts to come in here. And that is the fact that I'm going to try and sit on my chair without like flashing. Okay, so first of all, it's acknowledging that you can't change people. Like physically, you would be taking away their free will if you was to change someone. You cannot turn around to someone and say, stop being negative, I don't like you, you're causing me to not manifest. You can't do that. It would be physically taking away their free will. So inner work will show you that you are the problem here because you are wanting them to change. So one of the videos I was actually going to do was all problems are a you problem, and I was like, oh my god, that is such a triggering title, but it's actually true. Like, all problems, if you have a problem, it's your problem. Like, you are the problem in the situation, because no matter how much you say that the other person is in the wrong, they think they're in the right. They are perceiving that reality is in the right. So first of all, we cannot change people. So focusing and reminding ourselves every single time we feel like we want to blame someone for something, we want to control someone and tell them to stop being a certain way, just know that the number one thing that you can do in self-development is realize that you cannot change people, and you cannot also say to them like, you need to change. What you can do though is what I'm gonna say in number 2. And number 2 is energetic boundaries. So before we get into energetic boundaries, because I have all my notes here, this is gonna be quite a fast video, by the way, because it's gonna be like just like a mini. So someone's asked the question and I'm just gonna answer it, and it's very straightforward. So obviously, first of all, you can't change people. Number 2 is energetic boundaries. But before I get into energetic boundaries, this is part of that section. Know that if you don't focus on your own reality, you are going to get dragged into theirs. This has happened to me so many times, you guys, where, okay, so it's been split. First of all, I either get dragged into their reality. If my vibration has dropped that day, I will get pulled into their reality. So I'll be with them while something happens to them in their reality, and I then become a part of it and I get affected by it. I have also been in the situation where I have literally been on cloud 9 and something has happened right before my eyes and I physically haven't heard it or seen it, or I was just a physical couple of steps ahead of them in like walking distance, so it didn't affect me whatsoever. And the difference in all of these situations is my energy, my mood, my focus. So in the days where I've got pulled into their reality, it's purely just because I wasn't focused on my own reality enough. Maybe this is you going back to an old friend that you know isn't good for your manifestation, you know they're not good for your energy, but you still proceed to go back to them when you feel you need that validation, when you feel you need to gossip to make yourself feel better, when you feel the need to talk about other people so that you feel like you're getting ahead. So those are the kind of people to recognize, like what patterns you fall into where you get pulled into their reality because you're choosing to fall back into those patterns that you're trying so hard to escape from. So I've physically been in a situation before. This is an example of the good, right? So let's talk about the good in this, where I've been with someone and we've been out going to a place, and then the person, the receptionist, has been really arsey with the person that I'm with, and I kind of am part of the beginning of the conversation, but then I literally leave to go ahead into this place. And then the person in the receptionist starts like, I don't know, they say something really sly back. And even though I'm literally 2 steps ahead, I don't hear it. And I perceive the situation completely different. I just think that like they're being bossy because they're telling us that you can't do this or you can do that, right? So I'm like, okay, they're just laying down the rules. Whereas the person that I was with completely perceived the situation differently, and they was like, oh my god, can you believe that behavior? They were so rude. And I didn't hear that part. And the things that they did say were obviously sly, but I wouldn't assume that they're out to get me. I would just assume that it's a them problem. They're just not feeling very good. I say them because there was 2 men there, right? But this other person genuinely was like, it was about them, like they were attacking them. And this is what I'm saying, if I was part of that negative vibration, I'd have heard it, I'd have felt it, I'd have been there, and I'd have probably got myself entangled with that reality. But it's crazy how 2 people can experience one reality and perceive it completely differently. So first of all then, if you don't lay those energetic boundaries in place, you will genuinely get pulled into other people's realities, and then you will then have manifested a negative experience, a negative, like something that's taken away from you. That is what happens if you let yourself get fallen into that reality of theirs. You get fallen into the trap, the energy, like the negative energy of it, right? So what do we do then? We set in place these energetic boundaries. So I've got a whole video on energetic boundaries, so I'm not going to get into too much depth because I want these Q&A type videos to be quite to the point. And then obviously I can refer you to other videos. I don't know why my voice is really low and croaky right now. It's so weird. I haven't even spoke that much today. But I have been a little bit stressed because I'm not going to lie, even my nervous system gets like dysregulated sometimes, and today has definitely been one of those days. But essentially, the energetic boundaries, I'll link to the whole video down below definitely. But to keep it simple, you can't change people, but you can distance yourself from people. You can't change their behavior, but you can control how you react to their behavior. So you don't have to give them your energy at all. If you don't like someone's behavior, the best thing you can do is, instead of verbally saying don't do this, like stop doing this, that's you trying to control them, right? We got to release control here. You can't change people. But what you can do is say to this person, I feel like this, because again, it's an us problem, it's not a them problem. We're the ones that have a problem with their behavior. We feel like this, and therefore, just letting you know, because I feel like I don't like this behavior, like it makes me feel uncomfortable. For example, you could say, your behavior when you're like this, you make me feel really uncomfortable. So I'm just gonna let you know that if you are gonna carry on being like this around me, then I'm just gonna lean back. I'm not gonna spend as much time with you. And then you're leaving the ball in their court. So yes, of course, you're giving them an ultimatum, but at the end of the day, they deserve to know if you do like pull back and stuff. So at least you're letting them know ahead of time, just so you know, I don't like your behavior. But that's fine, you can continue being like it. It's just I'm not gonna be around you, you're not gonna get my energy. That is the highest level consciousness way of dealing with someone that's being negative, so they don't affect your life, your reality, your energy, your manifestations. So essentially, right, you can either not respond at all if they say something that's annoying or they say something negative. So let's just say they're going on about something negative, right? You can kind of condition them. It almost sounds very manipulative, but you can kind of condition them to not talk negatively by literally just not replying to the negative. If someone is doing something that you physically don't like, you just don't react to them whatsoever. You just do not give them that energy whatsoever. And then your energy doesn't drop, and then you don't manifest negative things because you've allowed your energy to drop. So you can just not respond to them at all. Don't engage in those type of conversations at all. If someone is talking negatively to you, it's because you have accepted that kind of conversation before. You have engaged in that kind of conversation. So of course it's going to take a while to kind of show them that you don't like that anymore. It's going to take a while for them to drop out of that behavior around you. They will definitely go somewhere else to find that kind of gossip, that type of critique, that type of negativity. They'll just go to someone else. So you're not really treating them badly here. It's just you're not accepting that kind of energy. You can just not respond. Or you can even just start a new conversation, and then eventually they're just not going to talk about it because they don't get the reaction from you that you used to give. And the same with new people when you first speak to them as well. Like, are you reacting to them and engaging in the conversation, being a people pleaser, being a nice girl? Are you engaging in the conversation and accepting all of these conversations that you wouldn't normally accept from anyone else just to please them? Because if you let them do it once, then they'll do it over and over and over again. So it's important to set those boundaries in the very beginning as well. And then the very last point here is that if it still doesn't work, if for instance you're still getting affected by these negative Nancy's and you're trying to manifest and you're trying to do things with your life and be super positive and believe in yourself, and you're still being affected by them, like say you're just really sensitive. So again, it's us problem. We're being sensitive to their energy, we're being triggered by their behavior. It's an us problem. And in that case, genuinely just separating your presence even more, because maybe there's some more inner work. There is some more inner work to be done here. And so pulling away your energy completely to work on yourself, like completely, no energy is being used up on this person, this scenario. And so what's the distance that you need to put between you and that person so that you can love them from afar? What's the amount of space that you need to give between you and that person for you to not be affected by them, not be bothered by their behavior? What kind of space and time and energy do you need to put in place and take away so that you can just accept them for who they are? And if you separate yourself from them and you still decide, I physically can see things from a bird's eye view now, and even when I do spend time with them once a week even, I've just evolved so much now that I just don't have that kind of energy. I don't feel right with them anymore. Like, I've just evolved to the point where they don't fit in with my reality anymore. We don't click anymore. That's just who they are, kind of thing. Then you can literally just say, okay, that's fine. The friendship's gonna fall away. You can have that conversation with them, or family member, whoever it is, right? Then you can just say, okay, that's fine. Like, I don't need to be part of their life anymore, right? But we can't, when the worst outcome is when you try and control people and you say, you can't do this, stop being like this. That is when we're taking away their free will. And again, it's an us problem, so why should they have to fix our problems? Even if they are really a bad person in your eyes, there's always someone that will see them as a good person. Like, if you have the most negative, gossiping, annoying family member ever that just always talks about people behind their back, someone in this world is going to see them as an amazing person and completely resonate with that because they're the same person as them. They have similar characteristics, and in that perspective and that conscious mind, they see that person as correct. And also in the person that is doing it, they think they're correct as well. So who are you to say that they're not correct? Who are we to say that they are wrong and it's not us? But there's the answer. It's us that has the problem. So first of all, then, anything you take away from this video, you cannot control people, and therefore energetic boundaries. You separate your energy small, and it gradually goes up more and more and more. You separate your energy in terms of conversations. You don't reply to certain parts. Then you distance yourself more. You completely disengage in certain conversations. You just don't give them your time. Then you give them less time. And then eventually, if they still don't click anymore, you don't give them your time at all, and you can just separate, seeing them forever. If you completely cannot avoid this person, like there is some annoying family member and you really have to deal with them at family events, that is fine. You just need to practice your energetic boundaries Maybe you just reply really bluntly to them because they don't deserve your energy. Maybe you do want to be a bit rude and just completely ignore them. Like, whatever you have to do to not give them your energy. Maybe you want to even confront them about it and sit down with them and literally say, look, I don't know how that, it depends who they are, right? If they're genuinely a really bad person, right, and multiple people have something wrong with them, then maybe it's time to confront them and just let them know that, you know, I'm really sorry, but I don't think we're a very good match, and so therefore don't wish to talk to you, however you want to put it, you know, but just let them know that you don't want to speak to them, because else they're going to keep speaking to you at these family events. And obviously, if you are forced to see them, like if they're a work colleague as well and you're forced to see them every day, then that's, you have to work on your energy. You have to work on how you react to them. And again, it's about pulling away in the conversations, pulling away in terms of how you react to them, and eventually they're just not going to talk to you because you don't talk to them back. You don't give them what they want, and that's fine. So yeah, anyways, hope you like that video. Well, live stream, you know, whatever. I want to do more live streams, so if you have any other questions about manifestation, pop them down below, and obviously I can do a video on answering your question about inner work manifestation and all that business. So yeah, have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.